By the end, I was crying. I loved it so much. Oh. That second half of Cats blew my mind as one of the greatest things I've ever seen on Broadway. It's magical. It's beautiful.
Hashtag this whole podcast was about cats, guys.
Welcome to episode 15. I think this is 15 of the FBE Podcast. We are honored this week to have two very special guests.
A dynamic duo.
Yes. Guest number one, would you like to say hello? We'll play Guess That Voice with the audio edition. Guest number one.
Hello, everyone. Thank you guys for watching this awesome podcast.
She's on Teens React. That is a hint.
Oh, yes.
How long have you been on Teens React? This is the second clue.
2.5 years?
I think so. Yeah.
About 2.5 years. Yeah.
Benny, you want to give the folks at home the answer?
It's Reina, everybody. It's Reina.
Oh. By the way, the people listening,
R-E-I-N-A.
The people watching this podcast on the FBE channel are like, this is the worst game we've ever played. We saw her walk in and wave to camera with her name across the screen.
Though most people would not know. Well, obviously, if there's a duo with Reina, who it would be, because it actually only correlates if you watch the TV show. But because you're not a duo otherwise.
So let's play the second Guess That Voice. Second Guess That Voice.
Hi, guys. Coming at you live from sunny Los Angeles, beautiful downtown Burbank.
She's on Teens React also.
Can you guess my voice?
It's Becca. Becca's here, everybody. We have Becca and Reina. As we're going to get into why these two in particular happen to be on this episode. Before we do a quick little bit of context for those of you who may be joining us for the first time, this is the FBE Podcast. It is a after hours hangout, behind the scenes.
After hours meaning that we film it after everyone has left.
Sure, after business hours.
It's released in the morning.
But yes, it's recorded very late at night after everybody has left. Luckily, we have Jay hanging out with us after hours on camera today. But we hang out because we get a ton of your questions throughout the week across our various social networks and on previous episodes of the podcast. Questions you guys may have about the content that we make, the talent that appears in it, the staff, the industry.
All things FBE. If you care about the behind the scenes.
Or YouTube or anything, advice, we just want to answer and hang out and respond to more of you. So how do we do that when some of our shows are like less than 10 minutes? Well, we do an hour-long podcast where we try and answer as many of them as possible and give you guys much better insight into who the incredibly talented people are that we work with and who appear in our stuff and who we're friends with on YouTube. So this week we have two very special Teens React.
You didn't introduce me, I just realized.
Well, I just
realized that though, because I'm here again for the second straight week.
I did say Benny.
Voice. This is the third Guess Your Voice.
In the beginning, I did say Benny. Do you want to answer that? So that counts as an introduction.
Let's call out, because normally if this was going to be this way, there'd be an alternation again, because I think this is weeks of me on the podcast. Rafi, who, if you listened last week, we talked about being sick. He's actually still sick a week later. So he's been coming and going as he can, but he's still pretty sick still.
I'm aggressively just trying to get him to sleep more. So that's why I'm showing up here.
It's the general thing that we talked about, that like Rafi and I work kind of like insanely hellish hours and we don't stop, and it's caught up to a point. It's
both the reason for like our success and also the reason that Rafi takes a long time to get better sometimes. And so I'm trying to be the, another office parent to try and help shepherd us back towards, what? Are you good, Ben?
I'm good.
All right.
But I will say, I'm glad it happened because I get to be here with you guys.
Aww,
I appreciate that, but I still feel bad for a little.
Feel better, Raf. We hope, and maybe you'll be listening to this, and you still see him on the other social networks because he's still in the office from time to time. We're just trying to limit his after hours workload. Right. So anyway, we're going to get in. We've got a ton of questions that came in specifically for you guys, and then a bunch of questions that came in for the company overall, and we're going to try and answer as many of them as possible in this next hour.
John,
starting with,
we're going to start with a question, or can we start with FBE 2?
I mean, Why
That would
not?
have launched by the time this comes out.
Oh my God.
We need to start there.
Like
Big
that
now.
5% already know. The
Yes.
5% already know because we
you guys are
They're
cool.
all knowing.
Do you guys know about FBE too?
Actually, Tom interviewed me for it.
Oh, okay.
And
So,
yeah. Well, I mean, not like interview, but when I was in the lobby, he came up and he's like, how's it going, Becca? And I'm like, hey, and there was this camera in my face. And I'm like, what's up, Tom?
So Raina, do you know about FBE too?
I've heard about it, but I don't know what it is or what's coming. Should I be scared?
Well, should we do a drum roll or something?
sure, let's do it.
Everyone at home, ready?
Although it's a drum roll for, again, if they listened to last week, they fully are like, what's the drum roll for?
They
again?
probably have
Yeah.
already watched
I
at
know.
least the first episode.
Let us know. Leave a comment below if you actually checked out any of the behind the scenes vlogs that came out this week on FBE2, but we are doing actual real life behind the scenes vlogs on a good camera that's actually coming out on FBE2 each week on Tuesdays and Fridays right now.
Yeah, we're working our way up to
goodness.
see.
Wait, I love vlogs.
Yeah,
I
so
know.
we're looking to be like, what is the company version of a daily vlog? And we're
Yeah.
experimenting with it right now. So it's in soft launch. We're telling people like the 5%. And obviously, if you're subscribed.
Literally, the 5% is the only people. If you watch Challenge Chalice, the podcast, that's it. Those are the only people that even know about that stuff is happening on FBE2
So
right
it's
now.
soft launched, even though episodes will have aired by the time this comes out. So we're looking for a lot of feedback from everybody. Is this working? What could we be doing better? But it is the first time we're fully giving you like office tours and talking to the whole staff and the reactors that are in on it on the days that we're filming to kind of
So if
showcase
you're
the
ever
company.
like, hey, like I wasn't filming with FBE this week, I wonder what was going on. You can watch any of our FBE2
Awesome.
content and see what actually happened at the office that
Yeah,
day.
I
That's
like
awesome.
that. I've
So-
actually been getting into vlogs recently, like Logan Paul, you know.
Oh my goodness. Oh wait.
I know, don't hate on me, but I don't know. But like vlogs, I just think it's really cool because you do get to see into like a person's life. And as a company, that's even better. So I think it's going to be really good. And
we're going to try. That's going to be the
Yeah.
question, because how can you create that same feeling that you get for a person
Exactly.
with a company with so many people? And I think we're going to find our way into like a very new way that companies can look at it and be like, oh, companies are personalities. All of us are personalities. You've been part of this for a long time. There's a lot of fun that goes on here. We're all cool, right? I hope. Maybe not me.
We at least
No,
try to
I
be.
think-
Yeah.
I think we're all super dorks, really, but super dorks in a really positive way because we all have different like passions and skills and motivations.
Yeah, I
and
mean,
how do you share that?
Nerdy is the new cool, you know?
Yeah,
It's like
100%.
I think
For
I
sure.
think the vlog is gonna be awesome. I think it'll be great. I mean, like, I know for me, it's like when I watch, TV shows, a lot of times I'm like, oh my God, I wonder how this is filmed. And then they also have like
Exactly.
the behind the scenes, but it's so staged and you're like, this is really like, is that it? But like
Yeah.
a vlog will like, I think make it super personal. I think it's gonna be awesome, and that might be biased because I'm confirmed already probably gonna be on it. So you guys should check it out. So.
If you're not in it, you're going to be like, I was cut.
Well, was it with a smartphone or the actual DSLR
The actual
camera?
like camera, yeah.
Okay,
No.
so it might have been a segment for the vlog then, because we're also doing a lot of this content on Snapchat and Instagram stories
Right,
right
yeah.
now, to the point where we've had to hang up warning signs in the lobby when reactors come into film because we're like, stay off of our social media because we are
I saw
ruining
that, yeah.
so
I saw
much
that.
stuff on it right now for the
So you
5%.
guys, we've had internal discussions when this was brought to my attention, like from the team being like, hey, we're going to put up these flyers because we want to spoil things now on social, because I'm not like in charge of that or making the decision. But when I heard about it, my response was like, well, how many people are just going to be looking and they're going to know?
Yeah.
So don't do it, guys. Be surprised.
Don't be sleuths.
Pressure.
And don't
You're
like
letting me down personally.
if you're
Wow.
not filming, it's okay. If you're not filming, it's okay. But if you know you're coming in a film, just avoid the
don't do it.
temptation.
Yeah.
Because
all
people
right,
don't
all right.
realize how powerful that organic initial reaction is, and if
Yeah.
you know something is coming or you know what you're reacting to, it's not you can't fake that. Anyway,
It's like a common joke among reactors that the show is like scripted because all of us are like, none of us would sound this stupid if it were scripted. Like we
That's
wouldn't
so
say the
true.
things we'd say if it were scripted. It's
well,
like
Yeah.
literally the only part that has elements of that is in the goodbye when we're trying to remind people
Exactly.
that the type of goodbye to say, to the point where I'm trying to avoid that on social media because I don't want anybody even thinking a part of it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Is
That part, I guess, is kind of scripted.
I know, but that's
a
what
lot
I'm
of times
saying.
when we say like, say goodbye wherever you want, some of you can't do it.
Yeah, that's me. I was actually just about to say that. I was like, when it's like,
That's your chance to be your personality.
Exactly. I don't know
take
how to-
years. Oh, good. So you
I was gonna say, like, they always say like, say hi, bye however you want, and I'm just kind of like, bye, like, okay, I don't know like what I should do. Should I just like walk off stage? Like what?
Act natural. Act natural.
Yeah,
Like,
totally.
Be yourself,
I'm
Reina.
so good at doing
Be
that.
yourself, Reina. Now, right here, do it.
Be more Reina. Be Super Reina.
She's malfunctioning.
You know, that say goodbye wherever you want is all my fault, because a lot of that stuff goes back to the days where it just was me and Rafi in the rooms, and there used to be very scripted, just like everything else. Like it says like, thanks for watching Teens React. There also used to be different types of goodbyes, and then I started feeling like, well, why am I making them say goodbye? Shouldn't they say goodbye wherever they want? So that became what I always said, and then every producers over the years all got trained by me or trained by someone who was trained by me. So then everybody always still says, I think in all rooms, say goodbye however you want, because that was how it was. At one point I decided, say goodbye however you want.
All right, let's get into why you guys are here right now.
Right.
Just because this is the anything that is on here. We
Oh,
got a lot of questions.
Oh my God, there's like an itinerary.
That's awesome.
Yes, well, or at least look. I gotta have quit. You guys sent in so many questions. I have to like put them down. I'm not gonna
We
remember
appreciate them though.
Over on Snapchat, Eddie Val 17 559 wanted to know how you guys got into the React family.
So I'll let you answer it, and then we'll start talking about
very
that.
interesting story.
This is
Here we
actually
go.
lots of fun. Can I?
Do you want to start from the beginning?
How about we talk about our diverging paths and then when we met? How about that?
Okay.
Okay.
Do you want to start?
I can
Okay,
start with
you
mine.
go for it, go for it,
Okay.
go for it.
So I applied for
Who you're jumping? I was going to talk about this.
Oh no. Okay.
She's starting from the beginning, then.
This is the very big. Okay, so it all started when I was in my mother's womb, and
Her mother met this gentleman.
so basically, I applied for Kids React when I was like 12, and I didn't get in. And then I also applied on like a casting service for React to that. Didn't get in there. And then we saw this open casting call, right? And my mom's like, no, I'm not gonna like let you like miss school, like leave school early to go to like React when you've like applied twice and they obviously don't want you. And I'm like, oh, okay. But I basically convinced her to let me go, because I'm like, no, you like if once I'm in front of the camera, it'll all be good. I promise they won't hate me then. It'll be fine. So
I'm gonna shine, Ma. I'm gonna shine.
you just gotta believe in me. But, so yeah, and so I somehow convinced my mother to let me leave school early for an open casting call.
So this open casting call, you mentioned React to That. This was React to That, if you're unaware, was the television show that we made that was a spin-off of the React series on Nickelodeon that had a season. It was the end of 2014, beginning of 2015. So that was an open casting call for the Nickelodeon show, correct?
Yes, it was a casting call for the Nickelodeon show, and I'm like, I wanted to be on it so much because I was such a huge fan of Kids React. Like it was such a we were talking about this because Raina and I were talking about this like when we first met. We were like, oh my God, we're such huge fans of the show, because no one who gets on the show now is like, oh yeah, I know I'm not a fan. Like if you apply, it's because you really are passionate about the show and you love it. So that's my intro.
So hold on. So hold on. So you got to the casting.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay, so I mean, I didn't apply before that, but I did get like, because I went to they held the auditions at this like acting place that I actually went to a couple times before that. So we were naturally getting emails from this place. And then finally there's this like, this casting call. And then when you see Nickelodeon and the Fine Brothers YouTube channel in one sentence, you're going to want to do that. Okay. So I watched the channel for a while and I loved it. I loved Kids React, Teens React. And I just, there's a part of me that always wanted to be on it. And I figured this was my chance. So, and I decided to go. I was really excited.
So you were at the same, I mean, I know this story, but you were at the same casting call.
Yes.
Yes.
And what
we were.
happened there?
It was
Hectic. There were a lot of people, and basically there were so many people that instead of giving us like private auditions, they started grouping people up randomly.
Yeah,
so they're like,
it
oh,
was-
you two, you're partners now.
Not that efficient.
It wasn't organized.
because I don't know.
So this was run by a different company. So I will tell you that, like, I found out about this, and I've complained to both of you about how unhappy I was with the with parts of the casting, but at the same time, it did bring both of you into my life. So we can't really knock it. But anyway, so it was hectic. And what happened? So you got paired up?
Yeah, we
Yes.
got paired up, and I turned to her and I'm like, "Hi, I'm Becca," and she's like, "Hi." Well, you can say.
Didn't you say you were Rebecca? Let's be real.
Oh yeah, I think at the time I actually was Rebecca. My name
how-
has changed.
That's how I
because of
know
React.
you, because if Rebecca from Teens React is no longer on the show, you needed to not be Rebecca. But I'm half and half. I find myself calling you
I
both.
still call you.
I call
Your
you Rebecca most
contact
of the
name
time.
for me is Rebecca from React to That. It
Oh
still
my
is.
gosh.
But you're another one, like Ray from Teens React, who I knew as Rachel when I first met her, and that's like for me, like no one calls her that except like me, and I still call you Rebecca pretty frequently.
Yeah, no, a lot. Like the thing is, I'm fine with both because they sound so similar. But the one nickname I've never gotten behind is Becky, because I remember like one time, like,
You do not look like a Becky.
no, I don't. Like, my mom's like, you can't be a Becky. You can be a Becca or a Rebecca, but not a Becky. Like,
All right, we're off track, but that makes sense. Okay, so they paired you up, and that was when you first met. You introduced yourself before the audition.
and actually, we were talking, and I somehow
It was
it
the
came up.
most awkward conversation. Can I just say that?
It very much was, but somehow we got on the subject of basketball.
Yeah.
Somehow we started talking about basketball, because both of us had like played kind of. And so we talked about basketball, right? Like, this was the main subject of the conversation. And when we got inside the audition room,
There was a video. Are we allowed to say this?
Sure.
It was just a video of some like cool basketball shots. And we're like, conspiracy theories? Like, the freaking X-Files theme song was playing. I was like, no, for real though. Like, I don't know. I just felt like, even though it was a really awkward conversation before we went in, I just felt like we connected, and I felt really natural with you. And I was actually glad that I went in with a partner, because
gave a lot of
every
reassurance.
audition is really nerve-wracking. You're always going to go in with nerves, but when you have someone else there, like, it's...
So what you guys didn't know until later was that there was a full attempt. We wanted to have duos. We didn't want to just have individual reactors, just like we do online, where we have siblings that will react together, usually when they're twins. So with this, we were broadening it out to being like, okay, there can be twins, there can be siblings, and there were a couple of siblings that ended up on React to that, also really good friends. So when I was sent a bunch of audition tapes of the duos, they were all supposed to be people who knew each other, had a long-standing relationship, etc. And that's what I was presented with, because it wasn't just randomly you and you, like they were supposed to film duos. So they told me, yes, everyone you're seeing that aren't siblings are best friends. And when I watched your tape and it was me, I was like, I even think I wrote an email to them saying, really, Rebecca and Reina are best friends? Because it seems to me there's a big age gap here.
There is, yeah.
Because you're 3 years older, right?
2.
2, yeah, I think 2.
Yeah, 2.
Okay,
2,
but-
almost.
So almost 3, because you were 15 when React to that happened, right? You weren't 14,
I was
were you?
15.
I think it was like 12.
Because you were
13.
12. You were still 12.
Oh my
Oh my-
goodness. I was a fetus.
Wow.
So that's what I'm talking about. So I was like, they were like, no, I'm telling you they were, because that was the thing, because I really loved the audition. Like, the two of you had this great chemistry that you even talk about now.
I admit though, I went home and I was like, I don't think I got it. I felt like I could have done better. I mean, there's always that thought that,
after every audition, you're always like, oh yeah, I bombed it. But like,
Yeah.
and but the thing is, like, for me, I thought we probably like at least made a good impression. But like after like kind of like a lot of weeks of not hearing anything, suddenly
it took what, like almost 3 weeks?
a very like I think longer than that, because at a certain point I like gave up. I'm like, oh yeah, I was rejected a third time.
Oh no.
But I actually ended up getting this phone call, and I distinctly remember this phone call because it was so hard to understand. Like, we got this call and they're like, Rebecca, cast, please, 3142, and we were like, what is this? And it was like an unlisted number too, so like we couldn't call them back or anything. So we had to like on this piece of paper, like write out the number, like piece together the numbers and try to like call them
great.
back.
Yeah,
But-
I think I got an email.
Oh,
and
wow,
it was just
that
like,
must have been
are
nice,
you
Reina.
available to film? And I was
It
like,
became specific because it had to be like you needed to be available at the same time. Every time you came into film, you were always a duo. You were Rebecca and Reina on React to
but
that.
yeah,
the
we
thing
didn't
is,
know.
we didn't know that we were going to be paired on the show.
I know, and that's
Either.
where for me it became like, well, obviously because you're best friends, and you were on the
Best
very
Best
first day of
friends.
filming. You guys were there, and we met that very first day.
I
what
remember
were your
this.
first
Can we talk
impressions?
about
Oh,
this?
really?
I just remember walking into the studio where we were going to film, and they're like, oh, let's take you guys upstairs to do like hair and makeup. And then we just walked by them, and I was like starstruck. I was
were
like, that's
fangirling.
Benny and Rafi.
And I didn't even know, because anyone that came, because you're one of the, I guess the majority of the cast came from the digital show. So you were in the minority even on React to that. There was maybe 10 of you, and maybe I think 20 or 30 that came from the digital show, and then about 10 of you that didn't.
And then,
I thought, oh, they're just actors, you're doing these things. Like, because we at that point don't really bring on people that are pursuing entertainment. It was all the fans. So it was like, oh, I don't know anything. And then you even let me know, like, hey, I think you told me right away, I have applied to be on the show before. And that's when I realized from your full name that I was like, I think I did see that listing from back when I was still doing it, and I didn't dig it up for this, but we do still have your original application somewhere.
Oh no, I distinctly remember just trashing Frozen. Like I don't know why, but
but you didn't audition. You just filled out the form. You never got to the audition phase.
No, yeah, but my form was very much anti-Frozen. That's like all I remember from it. But no, yeah, we were like completely fangirling. It was. I remember trying I was trying to like impress you guys, and I didn't know how. I was like.
Yeah, but you guys filmed with me, and Rafi was in a different room. We had 2 different rooms at the same time. But you were with me, and I want to say, it wasn't. I don't think it was Paula. It was Renee, the other interviewers. Renee and Paula. Remember them? They were so great.
Vaguely.
But either way, so they were being trained those first couple days. So hence that's why awesome. I was there that first day to do it, to show them how it's done. Yeah. But yeah, I remember that conversation. You guys were super sweet.
It was awesome though. Like the set and everything was. I mean, the set here is awesome, but like there was just. It felt different, you know what I'm saying?
It was like almost overwhelming because it was just like so huge. It was like a literal TV set. Also, Will came from React to that.
That's right. Will be the only other cast member from React to that.
Yeah, you told me that.
Mm-hmm. That's the 3 of you.
Yeah, I remember like after like it had wrapped, I was like, oh, I wonder if they're ever gonna call me in for actual Teens React. And there was like
me too.
a long period of time where it's like no, we weren't on Teens React. And then I got an email and I was with a friend and I was like screaming in joy. I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna be on Teens React. Oh my goodness, they actually like me. They didn't reject me a 4th time after I'd already filmed. This is great.
So do you realize just all of the steps of like beyond not giving up, ending up at this thing together, had you not happened to be picked randomly to be paired together, that built that chemistry that led to me seeing it, to me liking it, to then being like, yep, do it, and here you are. Like it's a really crazy series of events that led to you guys being on.
It really is.
It's really awesome to think about because now we're
really
close.
good
friends. Every time I see, like you like are every time again. Whenever I see you guys together, there's like even at the React party, like there was this moment of running to each other in such happiness.
We don't get to see each other that often because we live like far away. But we do make concerted efforts to hang out. Like we actually went and saw like a screening of Girl Meets World. I think twice.
Yeah,
right?
we did.
Yeah.
We try to find like sometimes to get together, and like whenever like if we film together or like at the React party, we always like go somewhere afterwards, just catch up, you know, the two of us.
I love that. So I don't want to spend too much time, but just to give a little bit of information, because there's people that are listening to this that might not even know there was a show called React to That. So React to That had a season. It did 12 episodes on Nickelodeon, half hours. The quick story of how that all came together: this was the first TV show that FBE ever made. So when you've made no TV shows, you're not established at all. So it's much more complicated, as we learned through the process. We were like, we have this huge digital show. It fits very well to do a television version. We thought that'll be easy. Wrong. Extremely difficult. Who are you? You're from YouTube. You know, all the stigmas, like, what is this? This is a digital show, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So it became that we needed a production partner, which is very, very common, either if you're by yourself or even if you are a company. If you've never made a television show, television networks very rarely will trust you to make a television show. They're giving you the budgets are not gigantic when you're doing unscripted television and cable, kids cable especially, but there's money being spent. And so they're like, are you gonna be able to deliver a show? We don't know if you can. So you need to find a partner to be your lead production company. So we started figuring out who is that gonna be, talked to some people, and then ended up meeting with Michael Goldman, who is in charge of Nick Cannon's production company, and had a great meeting with him. He thought that this would be something that Nick would be very into. We then met with Nick Cannon, who then loved the concept, got fully behind it, and then through his relationships around town and then bringing it out with his production company, we just walked into Nickelodeon and like sold it pretty quickly. So it really fully, shout out to Nick Cannon. It fully wouldn't have happened without him. And he's a great guy, as much as he's as busy as we are, but super, super great guy. And that's how it kind of came to be. It was a very crazy production schedule. There was a lot. You'd go in and you'd react like for hours, if I remember correctly.
Oh yeah, no, it was like a marathon, wasn't it?
Yeah, we would have some really long waiting periods where we'd just end up like playing games in the waiting room all together. And
it was full days. Like it was like you come in here for maybe you're here a half hour, an hour if we're on time. There it was sometimes you're there like you're in school for part of the time.
Oh yeah, it was also summer. It was,
for
me, it was like, I remember the last day of school I had to film. So I was like, peace out everyone, I gotta go film for a TV show.
Yeah, got it. But it was like, it would be sometimes that you're in there and it was not one video and then change. It was like, here is 8 videos in a row. React. Now go change while we film with other people. You're in another episode now. 3 more hours of
and then it was a special activity. I remember like because what would happen is on the TV
challenges,
show,
right?
Yeah.
Oh, OG Challenge Chalice, by the way.
I didn't even think about that.
Wait, yeah, what the heck?
But it would be that the videos we'd react to, we'd end up doing kind of like a challenge based on them afterwards. And the one I have the most distinct memory of is when we saw this video of this guy, having like a shower of like food on him.
Yeah.
And then we had a shower of food on us.
That was beautiful.
That was fantastic. I loved watching Sunday.
When are we ever going to say that we did that?
So this was a great episode. It's one of the best segments probably on all of React to that was that slow motion food thing.
It was.
But I was on set during that thing. It wasn't the greatest experience for you guys.
I was miserable. I remember distinctly. I felt
you were
bad.
like in tears almost.
I hated it.
I know you did. I felt so bad.
Well, we had to wear these goggles. Like we couldn't just do it, with our bare faces. We had to wear these goggles, and I just remember mine got really fogged up, so I couldn't even see any of like the camera operators or like the directors. So I was just standing there like, can someone guide me to the restroom where I can clean up?
It was rough, but at the same time, when you watch the final product, you have Lucas, who's like mouth open, like losing his mind. He thought it was the greatest thing ever.
Yeah.
I think at a certain point we would already become like kind of cynical towards like having food poured on you. I mean, but I just remember it was cold, and like afterwards they had a shower in like this really like cold shower, and like
it was awkward showering in like a studio.
I know, it's like you walk in there and you're like, has the shower been cleaned? And they're like, we think.
But it was worth it. It was worth it. So to wrap up, just so we can move on, that so the show actually did do good ratings despite its cancellation, and I've talked about this maybe, I don't remember, but it took them a long time to actually tell us, because honestly, being very transparent about it, we filmed it and months and months and months went by of it being completely done and hearing nothing from the network, of being like, what's going on? When are we putting this out? We had some things that were actually semi-topical that weren't anymore and all of this stuff. And then they reached out to us out of nowhere saying it's airing next week, and it's airing every day when it was supposed to be a weekly show. So right away it became like, they don't believe in this. Like this was supposed to be weekly. They want to kind of just, and it was also airing in between reruns of sitcoms during Christmas. So I was like, they're just throwing this away.
I remember seeing like Nikki, Ricky, Dickie, and Don before every episode.
Yeah. And they all guest starred on the show too. They were all the Nickelodeon kids.
I know.
Were on,
I remember. I was so.
But anyway, it then did really good ratings, and there were some days that it was top 5 of cable in the time slot.
Oh, that's
so a lot of people
I
watched
didn't know
it.
that.
A lot of people watched it, and to the point that it made them delay on canceling it because it did, quote, a lot better than we thought it would. I'm like, thanks a lot, you guys.
I don't know if you can still find it depending on your region, because obviously a lot of people like. Even listening, we have a whole section of the shoutouts that's countries that are actually listening to this podcast that this was not available in any region outside
which
of the US.
A lot of people were upset even about. I would say the interesting feedback from the audience when we announced the show was a lot of people thinking we were going to stop the show online and that we were rich now or something, which neither of those things were true. But it was that I don't live in America, and there was a lot of negativity, a lot being like, well, good, but I can't see it. And it reminds us how amazing YouTube is. We're global instantly, and 50% of our audience is not in America. So they're right away being like, you're doing a TV show? Well, I can't watch it. So it is what it is. At the same time, I will say this was an extremely kid-friendly version of what we do.
Let's get to that.
So it was extremely kiddie. And for some of the teens that are on it, like it definitely is like to react to some stuff that is like, we would not, it was not tailored to the audience and demo we have online, to the point that a lot of people say things like, oh, little kids are watching what you do. I'm sure there are some children that watch React for the most part, which we've talked about. Kids stuff doesn't do very well on the channel. It is an older audience that we have. Nickelodeon even told us when we pitched it, wait, is this Kids React? Because if it is, that's not for kids. It can't be on Nickelodeon. I'm like, no, it's not Kids React. It's a totally kid version.
Let's move on. Just to answer.
So much to talk about.
Let's try and answer a second question on today's podcast.
That was the first
great.
So if time tracks, we have time for one additional question. No, let's see how many of these we can get through.
We'll be quick.
This one might be quicker. Ruthless Aggression. Very. That's a hard name on Twitter. Calm down, Ruthless. Meditate a little bit. Head outside. I don't want to tell you how to live your life. I'm just saying. What do you think is your biggest or most passionate reaction you guys have maybe had on the channel? Does a topic or episode stand out to you in terms of that? That's maybe when you kind of lost your mind the most, or maybe reacted the biggest.
I'm not sure if I've had a lot of serious.
I feel like K-pop for you.
I just feel like I'm very passionate about.
I do really. I feel like it's not a secret to anybody.
But if they don't know, talk about this.
I do enjoy K-pop and J-pop and anime and that sort of thing, but
you probably know more about K-pop than any other reactor.
I think,
there's a lot of fans of K-pop, but you probably know the most.
I'm definitely. People sometimes get mad at me because I don't know a lot of the more recent K-pop. I'm highly into 90s and early 2000s K-pop. Like, I'm really into H.O.T., Jack's Kiss, God. These are just names to you guys, and you're nodding your head. You're like, sure, yes.
Who are some of the ones now that you do appreciate them?
I love BTS. I've been a fan of BTS since the Danger era, which is like, I think like 2014, 15. So like before they were immensely huge. Right now, the DNA video came out today, and Benny was just talking about how like it's already like number one.
1 million likes.
I know.
Already.
It has like 50 million views or something.
1 million likes already on YouTube. It's incredible.
It's crazy because I remember I would like when I was like a few years back, it was like watching like War of Hormone, and then it had like 3 million views, and I'm like, they deserve more than this. And now they have more than this.
Do you think, I have a question for both of you, but I guess Benny kind of like, Benny knows a lot of YouTube history and YouTube trends and stuff like that. Do you think, I mean, we've already seen a kind of non-fully English song like dominate the charts, but when do you think BTS is posed to potentially like break like Despacito?
Well, they're not going to break it. No. But they
do you think BTS is capable of?
BTS has definitely crossed over in a much larger way than many other K-pop groups.
Yeah, I think it's because they make like this concerted effort to kind of like balance both like appealing to a Western audience and a Korean audience at the same time. But I think the thing is with like Despacito and even like Gangnam Style, they're kind of more like fatty songs. Like they're not songs that like at the end of the day will like make kind of like they have like, they're kind of like a bright flash, you know what I mean? Like you can still hear them afterwards for a long time, but you're like, oh, this was popular a few weeks ago. Whereas I feel like BTS is probably even like almost better in a way because they have this sense of like longevity because they're consistently releasing new songs that get a lot of heat. And while they might not be these massive like one-time hits, they're still really, really popular, and they have a very dedicated fan base.
So we will add this to the list of the Benny and Becca K-pop podcast that we'll one day do, because
B&B.
all of the K-pop fans just lost their minds hearing you talk right now. So for you, it's K-pop episodes. For Reina, is an episode that stands out to you?
I would have to say, well, I mean, I have a couple. Like, they're especially like the controversial episodes that like I was on the Caitlyn Jenner one, which was one of like my first
ones you filmed. Yeah,
and I was really surprised. I mean,
because it wasn't React to that.
I do enjoy like the controversial episodes. I actually recently did a 13 Reasons Why one, and that show, I'm pretty obsessed with that show. Like I've watched it multiple times, and I do love the message behind it. I know there's a lot of people out there that are like, oh, it's like...
That stands out to me. Like, I think that I particularly think you were very articulate in the 13 Reasons Why episode.
I mean, I think because the way I look at it, it's for entertainment. And I think that like, I mean, I'm kind of just going on the show now, but yeah, that's why I liked it. I think the acting was good and everything like that. But like, yeah, definitely the controversial episodes stand out to me because I just remember those more. And I just kind of remember like, wow, it's crazy how we can easily talk about this and then anyone can watch it and either agree with us or disagree with us. So.
I definitely actually remember the 13 Reasons Why episode, mainly because of like the topics that were discussed afterwards.
Right.
Because like I think we ended up discussing like, you know, kind of like, you know, weird sexual like acts towards women. And I just remember I was like, it was just like, I don't know. I just remember getting like emotional over that because it's like,
it was and again, that's what, you know, in those moments of what the shows do. And like,
exactly.
it's every episode of the show. If you really think about it, we always find something related, but you weren't necessarily expecting us to talk about that because like that's part of what we do even as producers of like trying to keep you on your toes and see what you do think about it. Because there's a lot of just honesty in that episode, especially because no one was talking to teenagers. That was really the thing that was getting me. It was so controversial, and you rarely ever saw articles about what are teens thinking about this thing about teens that everyone is talking about, teachers and parents, and like, well, what about the teens? And even in there, to the point of that question, like there's a lot of real honesty that came in there. Like Sydney on the show, like talking about how she started understanding what objectification was because she was 11 years old on Kids React, which is hard to even hear as someone who made the show. But it's like, that's part of what we all have to deal with, being public figures that you become by being on the show. And it's, I think that 13 Reasons Why is a good conversation starter for a lot of different things. We're off topic. I'm sorry. Should we go to the next question?
What do you mean off topic? I asked her what her favorite.
Okay, fair enough.
I just went on and on about the show. Yeah.
Did you guys ever see the Parents episode of 13 Reasons Why?
I think I saw it. I don't remember.
We did that and then had the parents react to some of what you guys had said.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, I remember.
I did watch
none
that.
of them reacted to anything I said, and I'm like,
Sorry.
Oh.
That wasn't me, but I'm sorry.
Only watches it for
That's what I
yourself.
remember.
Whatever. Like,
Well, actually, this is a brilliant going into the next question. Twitter, Destiny Darren, do you ever watch yourself in the content? So Becca apparently absolutely.
I think honestly, who doesn't?
Yeah, that's the thing. I remember like what happened was when I was just starting out, I was talking to, I believe it was Ethan. I'm like, do you ever watch yourself? And he's like, nah. At a certain point, I stopped. I haven't stopped. Like I don't think most people have stopped.
I think the main reason for me is to see like how they edited it. Like, cause you like when you go in and film, you know, like you kind of remember what you said and you kind of want to see like what they put out there and like how you looked.
That's not come up much. I'm fascinated by that. It's not something I've talked to any of you guys about. So beyond obviously having moments of disappointment about either something you remember or I wasn't in it as much as I wish I was, beyond those things, what do you get from that when you see how we use it? Is there sometimes, do you find it interesting? Is there ever been a thought you've had about, oh, interesting that they use that?
Yeah, I remember like a lot of times when I was initially starting out, I was worried that I'd be portrayed pretty like horribly. Like I'd remember like I'd be like I remember like a distinct thing I remember is what happened was like I made a joke about like, oh, if you have a vagina, and then afterwards I ran up to like this person because I was referring to females, right? But then I ran up to like I forget who was at the desk at the time, but I'm like, by the way, when I was talking about that, I actually meant just like females in general. You don't actually have to have a vagina to be a female. I'm so sorry. Please don't include
And the
that.
person at reception was just like, what do I do with this information?
I know.
I have no say in what you're talking about.
I know, and I was like, I was freaked out because I'm like, I don't want people to think that I'm like a horrible person, but like, it's definitely one of those things because it's being broadcasted to millions of people, and you're like, I don't want them to all hate me, you know, because you see these
there's
things.
some crazy fan bases out there that just, if you say something that's like sort of negative or something, they will come attack you.
I mean,
I've seen issues like
You could
that.
say something
Fifth
neutral
Harmony
and be
was
attacked
like-
by
Exactly.
But that's the thing.
everybody.
That's
Like
what we've
anything.
talked about this a lot for the 5% to hope that they could be in comments to kind of advocate for this type of thing of like that craziness and fandom. We can talk about just the fandom side, not even the troll side, just the fandom side of like, if you are inside of a fandom and someone doesn't like that band or that movie or whatever, the attack, and it's so backwards. That is not the way it should be. It's opinion based. It's okay not to have the same opinion as you, to attack someone for liking someone or not liking someone, but it definitely happens in mass. And the big worry for me as a producer of the content is I don't want that to be in your minds, even though I know inevitably it becomes in your mind of like, and for some people, I feel like I notice that they stop really giving a definitive opinion whenever there's a fan base involved, or the better way of doing it is to be very careful. And you'll notice we include this in the edits a lot, where they say something like, I totally if you like them, I think it's really great, you know, like, and those types of selects work really well to say,
I think
look,
I do that a lot.
Yeah, which is fine because but that's a way, and it's because we even in editing will sometimes try to be like, can we find a way to soften that or to make them understand, because sometimes you do end up getting around to that eventually, hence white flash to get someone to a point of being like, you don't have any issue with people who like this, you just don't. That's all you're trying to say.
Definitely. I think actually something that I've noticed is that Tori's really good at kind of being like, oh, like I'm really positive about this, but here's a slightly negative opinion, but it sounds off my really
negative.
Like,
she's pretty negative.
Yeah, no, but she also has this thing where she'll like, if she's asked like, oh, how do you think you'll do in the game? She's like, well, I hope I'll do well, but you know, you never know. Like I might also do horribly, and like,
but I just don't want anyone thinking about it. But you end up in that stuck scenario where you kind of end up probably thinking about it.
I remember like I felt really bad for Layla, like because the Fifth Harmony episode, like I just remember her being like, it was like scary to watch, you know what I mean? Because like it's one of those things where you like you see this happening and you're like, I don't know how I can help. I don't know if like I can do anything to help. And I feel for her because like she's also a reactor, and like it's so cool that she like bounced back, and it's like now you can see that it doesn't even affect her at all. But at the time, it's like it's because there's so many people on the internet and they don't realize that like it's not just you commenting saying I hope you die because you don't like this band.
Yeah.
It's everyone.
ridiculous.
Like, imagine if that were happening.
People
to,
don't treat each other as humans online. Or
well, again, that's the
beings.
thing. And that's the thing that is so beautiful and also so difficult about React is that it's an opinion show. And by the nature of the way the internet especially is, if you have an opinion, that means someone's going to have a different opinion. And on the internet, that means they're going to attack you for it rather than have a conversation. Now, it's not everybody, but it's a very, very loud minority that can become a mob because of just like rearing that up, and it's fun to do, where it's like, it's just an opinion. And I can guarantee you every single person in any fandom that is attacking, there is someone that they don't like. There's some music that they don't like. So it's completely hypocritical at the same time. But what can you do? And the main thing is you just need to have a thick skin if you're going to put yourself out there. And that's actually one of the questions on every React questionnaire is, are you comfortable having your opinions heard and dealing with what might come from having millions of people and something that you have to answer to even be on the show, because we're not in control of what the audience is going to say. But yeah.
So not putting ourselves fully out there, but and Becca may have already answered this question a little bit, but this was just a favorite question came in from yo boy Zach55 on Snapchat. Yo boy,
that
Zach.
boy.
It's your boy.
Shout out. Current favorite song to listen to. So what are you guys? What's on repeat for you guys in
This
terms
is
of
hard
what has the most
when I
plays
can't
on
look
your
at my
YouTube right now?
I've been listening to
DNA 13 times
actually,
today.
I was gonna say something different. I've been listening to Enka music recently, which is 50s Japanese music.
Ooh.
Like really old Japanese music, like Misora Hibari. I've been obsessed, and it's like weird because like I was sitting on the bus with my friend today. I'm like, you should listen to this, and he listens to it, and he's like, this is, I mean, it's interesting. And I'm like, okay.
Well, for me, since I'm like a theater nerd, I really like musicals, and I'm always listening to musicals, and I'm the type person that it takes a while for me to get into something new. So I basically have a bunch of like Dear Evan Hansen songs on repeat.
Such a good musical.
I mean, I do still listen to Hamilton.
I was gonna say, like,
as
so you're on
old as it's
Hamilton,
getting, I still jam out to it with my friends.
Every day I'm still checking in on the app because in LA they have the app it's in Chicago, New York, and LA right now. And in the app there's a daily lottery where you can press a button on it and you get entered to buy 2 tickets for $10. And I haven't won the lottery yet, but I've been playing for the last like month. I'm trying to get in.
Yeah,
but it's a great.
I should start doing that. Yeah.
I mean, I've never seen it, but like
I've got my tickets taking my sister on her birthday.
Oh my god. That's so sweet.
That's the thing. That's the thing in our, because she was a theater major in college and was always performed and taught theater in middle school for years and years and years. So it always used to be on her birthday, the family for her birthday would always go to a Broadway play. We lived in New York. So that was a thing on her birthday. And then it became a thing on my birthday because I got really into musicals too from having her as an older sister. So now it became a thing when I saw I could get tickets on her birthday. I mean, none of us have seen it yet. I was like, we should do it like old times and go on her birthday.
That is so cute.
Awesome.
I'm curious, Benny, did you know, like, I don't know if you saw maybe when his initial, like, White House.
I knew about it very, very early.
But when you saw that, did you know, like,
No. I'm not tapped in enough anymore to the scene. But I knew about it early enough that one of the times Rafi and I were in New York, you actually could still get tickets only like a month out because it had started to generate the buzz, but didn't become every ticket is sold out for months.
I know.
And I remember us being there and everything was sold out when we were there. And we even said like, oh, we can get tickets in a month. Maybe it's worth coming back because I don't think we're going to be able to get tickets. And then we never did. And I regret it. And I'll always regret it because I didn't get to see the original cast.
I mean, I actually had like a similar experience where my school was offering like this trip where you could go and see like a few Broadway musicals. Hamilton was one of them at the time, original cast. And like it was a few $1,000s and I went, oh, well, it's conflicting with other stuff I'm doing during the summer. Maybe some other time. There's no other time now. It's like it's done. But I've also been listening to a few Broadway musicals. They're all good. They're so good.
They're all
I got to see so many in the 90s.
so
like
lucky.
we could talk
Cats?
about.
Did you see
mom-
Cats?
I didn't see Cats. Listen, okay. Oh, now you're gonna get me on a tangent. So I never saw
Wait,
Cats
you saw it
growing
as an
up.
adult and you loved
yes.
it.
Here's the deal.
Oh, no.
So as a kid in New York, they always would have an advertisement for Cats that's very haunting, always during the Christmas time. And so growing up like a very Orthodox Jewish kid, like Christmas, when you're that Orthodox, is kind of looked at as like a negative thing. Like, we don't do Christmas. And so Cats, because it was always during Christmas, had this connotation of something that wasn't Jewish, even though it has nothing to do with anything. But anyway, I have all of these things.
Cats isn't Jewish.
Cats at the Winter Garden Theater. And like this whole
Oh gosh.
So then when Rafi and I were in New York on business, we always try to see a play. And we're like, what's available? And Cats was available. And it was like, as a joke, we were like, well, we've got to see Cats.
I feel like
I mean,
Cats
it's
can
better-
only be taken as a joke.
At least it's better than Chinese food in a movie, right?
Yes, it's true. So anyway, we go there, and my first cousin lives in the city now. I was like, do you want to go to Cats? She's like, okay. So we took her to, and we went to Cats. Have either of you seen Cats?
No,
but
Okay.
But I just hear so
Okay,
much about it.
guys, so here's the deal. So the first half of Cats is going on, and it's the weirdest thing I've ever seen in my life, and it's like unwatchably bad. And I'm like, this is bizarre. Like, what's going on? How is this a thing? And it made me even wonder, like, what is everybody thinking right now that's in this theater? What's happening? And when the intermission even starts, we're all talking about it. My cousin's like halfway out the door. But me and Rob are like, I wish, again, me loving people, I wish I can interview everyone for a reaction right now and ask them what are they thinking right now, and thinking everyone's got to think whatever. Then things start to turn. Why? Because I realized that like Deuteronomy, like the main big cat, he's like on stage, and they let you go on stage like Santa Claus and take pictures with him. And I'm like, I wish I knew that. I definitely missed my opportunity. And I'm like, that's kind of cool. And then the second half starts. By the end, I was crying. I loved it so much. That second half of Cats blew my mind as one of the greatest things I've ever seen on Broadway. It's magical. It's beautiful.
Is it magical, Mr. Mistopheles?
You heard me and Robin sing about the magical Mr. Mistopheles a lot, and I can't even describe to you why it's so good, because it's so strange.
Are you sure it's not just the juxtaposition of like the bad first half compared to like a
No, there's
slice
something
food?
just.
Okay.
He ingested a lot of ecstasy during the intermission where he started doing a lot of
I just
drugs.
can't. It's hard to describe. The music is beautiful. The story becomes this kind of strange but beautiful journey, and I'm obsessed with it in a way of like I can't stop thinking about it, and I always want to see it again. In a way of like almost the feelings you get when you watch something so bad it's good, except it actually is good, but there's elements of it not being that good, but it is, that I'm like obsessed with it, and I highly recommend Cats. I was just in tears.
If you're just
of like
tuning
that
in
good
now,
feeling in a musical. Oh my God.
If you're just tuning in
Cats.
now, this podcast has so far been about a Nickelodeon show that you could not watch unless you lived in the U.S. and a musical that appeared in the 90s in New York. Wait, no, it's still there. So if you have a chance, if you ever visit
voice
New
of
York,
The
we encourage.
magical Mr. Mistopheles.
This is the type of quality content you can.
If Cats
you
comes
can
to
look
LA,
forward
Raina and Rebecca, are we going to Cats? If it
Yes,
comes?
let's do it. Honestly,
I mean-
that's the FBE2 vlog. That's the next
Yes,
one.
Go to Cats.
every day is like
Come
a
to
cat
LA.
song.
Benny, at this point, we have to shut down the company and take the company to see Cats if it comes to
True.
LA.
No, but I honestly, I'm so jealous of people who got to see like original casts of anything. Like my mom saw original Phantom of the Opera, original Les Mis, and original Into the Woods, and I'm like, why, what, who, how?
Let's also do the Broadway musical podcast on FBE2.
Yes.
Talk
I'm so
all about-
down.
I saw Miss Saigon in the third row when I was a kid.
Oh my God.
I went backstage.
All right,
Anyway.
to quickly move along, Benny, you don't listen. You're terrible in like guess that songs like modern music. So there isn't.
Yeah.
Would you say there is, other than like K-pop or something through research? Is there anything you are actively listening to that has come out in the last 5 years? I'm really curious.
Last 5 years.
I will say
musical
right now I'm
reference.
kind of hooked on Marshmallow. Do you guys know who Marshmallow is?
I know who Marshmallow
I know
is.
vaguely.
He
I
wears
don't
the
know.
giant plastic marshmallow helmet, kind of like, I don't know if part of me just loves Daft Punk so much I just love any helmeted DJ, because I do like Deadmau5 a lot too. But Marshmallow has a new song, Silence, that he released that is like I'm really into like some EDM, like, you know, and dance tracks. So
But man, the last 5 years, see, I don't know. It would only be like bands that were around earlier that maybe put out new music, like the Arcade Fire or the Strokes or something.
I did like that after the Arcade Fire won the Grammy. I did like the
album was pretty
Tumblr.
good.
Did we even cover that and agree? There was a Tumblr that was like, who is Arcade
It
Fire?
was so
and it was
people were
all people
confused.
tweeting after the Grammys being like, who is this band that just won the Grammys? Nobody knows who Arcade Fire is. Okay.
Honestly, sorry.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say that I completely relate to, other than the K-pop thing that he had to tag on the end of that, because I remember when we were doing like a guess that song, like I think it was with like Alicia, and she got like all of them because I just didn't know anything.
I can't do it if it's new. I just can't do it.
I'm the opposite. I'm more of a modern person.
You're a pop
so
princess, Raina.
Oh my goodness.
So I'm going to get into one. We've talked about all the cool stuff coming out in FBE 2, which if you don't know, please go over there, check out FBE 2. We have behind the scenes studio vlogs happening there twice a week now. It's awesome, and we desperately need your feedback as a part of the 5%. We have time for maybe one company question and then maybe one feedback segment.
Okay.
Yeah, that we'll get to this week. Do you want to take this one that we can't actually say the second half of the name, or would you rather? I'm going to let Benny pick the one company question. Which one do you want?
If we want to go company, we would go to something like this.
Well, the bottom one or the meeting
This
one?
one.
The first one has so much mystery, though. You're like, we can't say the second half.
No, because I stack these. If I can't get to them this week, they make it on next week's
If we're going to go company, we would that's very
kind of meetings.
Sure.
Okay, BBKevn over on YouTube.
Very inside the company here, guys.
So get ready to just skip ahead 5 minutes or less. We'll try and answer this quickly. How many general kind of meetings does FBE have weekly? Who attends? There is 70. We've talked about this to different degrees. There's 70 people that pretty much work here full time now, and that's not including any of the reactors. So we're not including Becca and Reina in this.
That's
there's
crazy.
like 150 other reactors.
I think it's 66, but still.
Okay, it's with interns, it's like 75.
Okay,
so it doesn't matter how you do the math, Benny. There's like 150 reactors, and that's not including any of our YouTube friends that show up for that. So between those 70 people, that's like 12 different departments here between production and post and social and engagement. And I mean, there's so many departments here. Each of those departments have multiple meetings a week and some meetings between each other. So like today I had a meeting that was, I had one meeting with the social team. So between engagement and social, and I had another meeting that was between engagement and production, because you're trying to interface with different departments based on, and how those responsibilities play off each other, because we rely on different teams to make all how many videos are we up to a week?
Right now, because Life is Strange is twice a week, that's 9 on the React channel, 5 on FBE, so 14, 15 a week.
So we're talking about 14
Numbers.
or 15 mini documentaries a week, and that's just the digital studio side of the business. So that's not even touching TV development or any of our brand deal or ad outreach. So there is massive parts of the company that fall within YouTube, but even that side of the company is dealing with stuff like Facebook and Twitter.
The long and short is, if there's a department, they have some type of meeting each week inside of just their own department, at least one. And then department heads have their own meetings, and then there's meetings that are just with me that I have with.
If you're a manager, there's a manager meeting. There's an all hands company meeting that happens Monday mornings with the entire company. Shows up between 9 and 9:30 in the morning, and we just give updates. We try and go through all the departments of the company really quick, and each department gives an update. So I would say that's and we're always trying to evaluate what meetings can we cancel.
That's
what
one of the
meetings
things when
make
you have
sense.
a business and a company, meetings end up taking up a lot of time. And there's people that will talk about, I became successful, or I got promoted, and more than half my day I'm just in meetings all the time. So it's always trying to figure out how do you get out of that, because that is why I'm here usually till 2 or 3 in the morning, is because on a certain day I lose the entire day on meetings, and I actually need to do the actual stuff I'm trying to do after hours. So it's a lot.
So let's go over to your...
I'll rush through a few things. We had the DACA episode come out since the last podcast. So that was a pretty intense episode. And we even knew going in, this was going to be right up there as one of the most controversial episodes we've ever done, even though we've done some things that you would think would be more controversial. And the reason for that is, and I love this about the series that we make here, we really do have a very universal show. And we have people on the left and the right and the middle that all watch and they all like it, because we're an opinion-based show that have different opinions. So we're not, as much as because we're in Los Angeles, we lean liberal because that's just who happens to live here, which we're always very upfront about, because I get that a lot where people are saying liberal bias, and that is why
there's a disclaimer on the screen.
And we learned, because in the years and years ago, we didn't have it, and we realized, we need to make sure people know that we're not trying to say that this is representative of everybody. And so that's why you'll always see in the beginning of episodes saying this was filmed in Southern California with people who live in Southern California. So we're very open about that reality, and we only get what we have. And if somebody came in there very anti what we're talking about, it would have been in the episode, but that's just not what we had. So it is one of those things, though, that knowing that we have both sides, that means that the fans, our actual fans, are going to be very angry because they're on the other side of the equation. And we weren't, and it being in Southern California, even more specifically, very hard to find the other side here. While in our election episode, we actually are, which is, again, it makes sense with what happened in the election. It was dividing everybody, even in Southern California. So we were able to have a much more balanced episode with that. We didn't, and it really became a thing that we actually have one of the Teens React cast members who is a DACA recipient. And when I found that out, it became like we have to do the episode. Like it just becomes a thing of like we have to hear from him and see what people are thinking. But we know it's controversial and it's just one of those things. At the same time, what I would say I learned from it from a high level that I'll be passing along to the producers is when we do something like that again in the future, I think that we could do a better job of providing something video-wise that is showing the other side, because we had a piece of content that I think was fine and explained what it was. But there's a lot of feedback talking about it as being like, but this is from a liberal source. And I didn't consider that, being like, this still explained it in a way that explained it, but it came from a liberal source. And I think we could have also had a viewpoint similarly to say, this is why people think it's a good idea. And we could have shown both sides a little bit more. Mm-hmm. And I think that's a better way of going about in the future. Mm-hmm. I also want to talk about the reactor Guess That Voice number 2. I don't know if you guys
I watched it.
Okay. So with that one, there was a mistake in the editing and we forgot to put pictures of the reactors in there. And we know that like that was part of it. And that was overwhelming comments of like, it's hard for us to put the voices to a face as viewers. And that was what we did in the first episode. So we'll fix it. Last thing is Teens React to Green Day that came out.
You were in that,
I was
right?
on that one, yeah.
Yeah. So with that one, we can never win. And what I mean by that is even though we said it in the beginning, even the interviewer
very first thing out of Ethan's mouth
we
is...
know that we can't, we're going to upset people. We can't show all the songs. But even so, there was an overwhelming amount of why didn't you show this? Why didn't you show that?
I'm personally guilty for that one. I'm like, you didn't even play Bang Bang or like Basket Case. Like, come on, guys.
And that's the thing where you can never win.
We can't even please our own cast.
I know. I literally distinctly said that. He's like, that's the first thing I said. And I'm like, but come on, you said newer songs. So where's Bang Bang?
Right. And that's where I think there wasn't enough newer songs. And we were always trying to tweak and minimize that comment. Because no matter what, even when it's not overwhelming and as obvious as the Green Day episode for things that we're missing, it still is there. But we're always trying to be like, okay, what's the difference between this and that? And some of the mentality that we have that I think we're going to shift based off of the episode's feedback, because we do pay attention, is there's times that some of these songs have been on other shows. Basket Case being a good example. It's been on multiple other shows. So for me, I go, if I am a super fan that watch every single thing, I've already seen teens react to a degree to Basket Case in Do They Know It, where they already talked about Basket Case. I think another Green Day song, I think, was in a Guess That song. So my mind went to what has not been in anything, let's use that. And I realized, nope, wrong way of going about it. Like, go with the things that are most known, even though we're also trying to cater to the things that aren't as most known. You can't win.
So at the end of each podcast, we do a shout out section where we pick a hashtag that somewhat relates to that episode. Is there a phrase?
I think it's super easy, guys.
Magical Mr. Mistopheles?
No. Way too hard to spell. We've got to go old school. Hashtag react to that.
Yes.
All right.
You're not happy with it, Reina.
Yeah,
You're disappointed.
I
Reina wanted
guess,
hashtag
like,
cats.
No.
Yeah.
Hashtag this whole podcast was about cats, guys.
Cool. So these are people that left the hashtag... What was last week's
Busted.
hashtag? Oh, hashtag busted from our Musicallys.
And no one did the Macarena, which is unfortunate.
There were a handful of people that are still leaving that hashtag, and
Just saying.
If you reply to them in the comments, because I'm not going to reply to anybody that uses that hashtag.
I feel like if there's ever like a finale to the season, you guys have to actually like do the Macarena.
Benny can do
right?
it. I will frame up the shot and light it properly, and Benny can do the Macarena. Thank you guys so much to Yusra Nepal,
Alex Franks,
Elisa Lockman,
All About Sec,
Amy Ecker,
Anisha Nicole,
Ari Molly,
Asina Thou,
Aurora Menendez,
Dylan McMurr,
Elegant Slaughter,
Elias Chu,
Emily Sora Norin,
Eva Lunder,
Fiery Fiend 13,
Grant Butler,
Harry Tiagi,
J. Nick,
Jacob W,
Jalen Seelan,
Jessica Bastier,
Justin Dunn,
K_Hunter98,
Colin -OPG,
Kendrick Harris,
Mama T,
Mar from GU,
Maureen O'Brien,
Mauds H,
Mary Hutatia,
Michael Nape,
Michaela A,
Naj Redcliffe,
Neto Gislati,
Nikki Grajek,
Richard Logan,
Rodrigo Ortiz,
Sapphire Gemstone,
Shara Shamsuddin,
Vonda Turks Salnie. I'm so sorry. I am
You guys
so
have
sorry.
cool names.
And we'll do the same thing. There's at least one person listening from each of these amazing countries around the world.
Wow.
Aruba,
Thank you.
which is, I guess, a Netherlands or a Netherlands country. I was trying to research it.
Australia,
Belgium,
Brazil,
Chile,
France,
Germany,
Guam,
India,
Indonesia,
Israel,
Italy,
Nepal,
Philippines,
Slovenia,
Spain.
UK.
the USA, Utah, Pennsylvania, Michigan.
Michigan. I was born in Michigan.
So was I.
Dun, dun, dun.
The
man.
X-Files now plays all over again.
There was a 1 in 50 chance that we were both potentially born in that state.
I mean,
That's
that's probably
true.
not true considering we're all in like California, right?
I feel like a lot of people
mean-
are from Michigan and they just moved
At
to
least
California.
We're on the hand, guys. We're on
Wait,
the hand.
the mean girls. I'm from Michigan.
I'm in this part of the hand. What part
I'm
of the hand?
sort of like to the left of that. Yeah.
What's
There you go.
This is super helpful for the people listening to the audio
Yeah,
version.
totally.
Traverse City, Michigan.
awesome.
This is we're out of time, Benny.
We're out of time. Well, you guys, thanks for coming on the podcast.
Thank you
Thanks
for
for
having
having
us. Rebecca.
Okay, like get out. You're reading my mind now, Reina.
Like, what the
Just
heck?
go.
But I love the journey, and I'm glad that you were able to stay part of the React family
I'm
after
glad
Nickelodeon.
too, yeah.
And thanks for auditioning and being, at least at that period of your life, being interested in being in the entertainment industry, because we don't really do that
Yeah.
anymore. So
No, thank you.
Thank you
for
so
like
much. It's been so amazing. Like as much as we talk about like, oh, you know, like here are the problems with it. At the end of the day, it's so much fun. Like everyone has a good time. There's a real like family atmosphere. I mean, like I've made some fantastic friends off of React.
Yeah.
And it makes you feel like more confident, and it's just such an amazing experience. And like I
Wow.
wouldn't have it any other way.
Ditto.
We are so thankful you guys stopped by and took time out of your night to come by the office. And we hope the 5%, we hope you guys enjoyed this podcast. We'll be back next week with some new guests and potentially new hosts if Rob's feeling better, who knows?
I've been replaced.
Or if I've replaced Benny or Benny's replaced me. We'll see you next time. Thank you guys so much. Bye.